Astrid stood there speechless, completely caught off guard. There was a vampire staring her in the face during broad daylight, looking at her with those seductive eyes. He smelled sweet, like a crisp morning breeze right at dawn. After a few awkward moments of staring and some quick thinking, she finally spoke. "No, I'm fine," she replied, as she tried to play off her awkward blunder. "I just had some really intense déjà vu." "Funny. I think I did too," he slyly whispered. "I'm headed to beginner's Spanish," Astrid said, trying to make conversation. She was intrigued by the day-walking vampire, a little concerned, but more curious and excited. She'd seen so many things throughout the years that she always welcomed something new. He gave her an obviously fake surprised look and said, "How convenient." "So am I." Astrid could tell he was lying. He was trying to be alluring and persuasive, but Astrid was immune to those types of tricks that vampires possessed. She didn't mind him trying to flirt with her, though. If he liked her, it would be easier to find out what kind of vampire he was. The kind she had to kill, or the kind who she could leave to live their long lives. "I'm Astrid." "Beautiful name." "I'm Carter. It's a pleasure," he said, as he reached out to shake her hand. She had found her vampire, and he wasn't what Astrid had expected. She reached out and began holding his ice-cold hand. He reminded her of an anime character. He had a defined jaw and bright blue eyes. His hair was long and black, but he kept it tied back. He was taller than her, but only by a few inches. He wore black dress pants, a white button-up shirt, and black suspenders. She'd never seen anyone look so good in suspenders. Although he was overdressed for a simple college class, he wore it well. Sensing that their handshake had gone on too long, Astrid pulled away. They stood there in silence for a moment, then Astrid awkwardly asked, "So, do you know where to go to get to class?" After being led to class by a vampire, her first day of Spanish had a whole new feel. Astrid could barely focus with such an unusual specimen sitting right beside her. A new layer of interest was added on when the professor called roll to make sure everyone had made it to their first day of class. Carter's name wasn't on the list. The office administrator told me to just go ahead and go to class and she would register me later. His words caused even the professor to swoon a little. Vampires rarely had to use their forceful persuasion trick to get people to do things. Most of the time, their natural charm was enough. In that case, there was no persuasion necessary, just the sound of his elegant voice. Okay. Just talk to me after class," the professor stumbled. She was petite, had curly blonde hair, was wearing all pink, and didn't have a chance against his charm. Persuasion was one of the many perks of being a vampire. Although they had to drink blood, or most had to anyway, and they couldn't come out during the day, Astrid considered most of the things vampires could do as perks compared to the normal qualities humans had. The basics were super speed and strength, unmatchable reflexes, highly enhanced senses, quick healing, and persuasion. Persuasion was a perk because simply by looking into a human's eyes, a vampire could make them do anything. Technically, immortality could be considered a perk, but that was a tricky one.